Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Lee, the chairman and founder of Silver Elephant, the new silver standard. And we're now in a Q&A session. It's a follow-up to the presentation we did earlier today, September the 8th. With me again is Dan Osterman, the Vice President of Exploration, and Joaquin Marino, the Vice President for Latin America. Joaquin, what is it like to operate in Bolivia?
Well, our Bolivian team started working in Pulacayo in 2005, before Evo Morales, the socialist government, came in 2007. We have operated in the intervening years without government interference because we fostered a strong relationship with the local community, which is a key for us. Mr. Morales has left Bolivia, and with over a decade of underinvestment, new government wants to attract foreign investment, alliance with Peru, Brazil, and the United States. Looking forward, we think Bolivian investment climate will improve, rating appreciation will be definitely upgraded.
Understood. And Joaquin, tell us, why did the vendor sell Sunawayo?
Well, the vendor, this person is from another Latin American country. He's over 70 years old, and he has worked in the real estate most of his life, and wants to retire after this mining small scale adventure for him at Sunawayo for last decade at a break even.
He wants to go home.
Yes.
And Dan, can you talk about the metallurgy for Sunawayo Malku Khota?
Sure. Well, Malku Khota is a sedimentary exhalative type deposit, or Sedex. It's a well-established type of mineralization forming in large hydrothermal systems. Examples would include Tecumseh's Red Dog, former Sullivan mine, and Glencore's Mount Isa mine. And they've been extracting silver, lead, zinc from these mines for over 100 years. And the metallurgy for Malku Khota model has been reviewed, with over 70% of silver recovered from previous operators, along with indium, lead, zinc, and gallium using a heap leach process. And of course, it's possible to optimize this further.
Well, Joaquin, go back to you. That's reassuring. What does the local community think about the mine development at Sunawayo and Malku Khota?
Well, like in any other country, locals want employment. Sunawayo has had an operating mine there for 10 years, with community support, because for them, it is about jobs and providing for their families. We hire locally and procure supplies locally. We use Bolivian management all the time. We have a good foundation of mutual trust, which we will continue to build on. We cannot forget that Bolivia has over 5 centuries of mining tradition. Bolivia is the 6th largest silver producer in the world, despite a decade of underinvestment. Like, of course, Pan American Silver, Sumitomo had all operated peacefully.
And moving to today, Joaquin, I know you are assessing the situation closely. What is the political situation in Bolivia?
It was a relatively peaceful transition last November after more than a decade of Morales and his mass party running the country. The caretaker government is in place until election in October. If there is no major winner, second round will take place in November. Mass party has 20% support of the public based on polls, but we believe non-Morales supporters will consolidate the support behind one candidate in November round.
Understood. And Dan, understood that the purchase in a while includes an operating mine 100 tons per day. What are we going to do with the mine?
Sure, John. Well, Sunawayo has already received social license and environmental licenses, and we're going to continue to build on this as a foundation with the government and the local community. We're going to study the 100-ton per day operation and identify any areas to improve, possibly expand. And currently, we're just going to maintain the status quo. As a company, our priority still remains to explore the size and potential of all our projects, including Pulacayo, Triunfo, and of course now Sunawayo.
Understood. Thanks, Dan. And Joaquin, what is the budget, and what is your plan for the next 6 months?
Well, we are currently drilling Triunfo and plans to start Pulacayo drilling and Sunawayo by year end after further surface exploration. The modest campaign of 1,000 to 1,500 meters for each project will cost less than a total of $1 million for the remainder of this year, 2020. The program is fully funded, and insiders and core shareholders have voted support.
Indeed. Well, Joaquin, I just received several emails in the last few minutes. Can you talk about your team? Who is doing the work for us?
Well, I myself spend 70% of my time of my time in Bolivia, and the rest of that, I go back home to my country, which is Spain. Dan spends over 50% of his time in Bolivia. In addition, we have a Bolivian team local with 3 geologists, country manager, many field administration staff, all of them are Bolivians. And I know, John, that you spend half of your time in Bolivia last year, 2019, and you stay there for the first quarter this year.
Yes, indeed. Elephant is very hands-on with all of our projects. Dan, I know you followed the story of Malku Khota quite well in your research. What happened between Malku Khota and its previous operator?
Well, according to the Bolivian mining minister, Malku Khota's previous operator had a setback in community relations in 2012. The community rejected the operator and the project was reverted back to the state. And since then, the project has stood still. Meanwhile, Sunawayo continued a decade-long mining operation next door, and which shows that the community is open to mining, that's keen to work with mining companies, and we're going to build on that foundation and garner some mutual trust and support from the previous vendor has already forged, and we're going to look at ways to improve that. We're practical, common sense relationship partners, as you know, John. We've demonstrated that with Pulacayo since 2015.
Well, indeed, Joaquin, when you went to Pulacayo, many of the old timers still recognize you after a decade of absence.
That's right.
And Joaquin, can you talk about the process for mining production contract for Malku Khota, which Elephant is undergoing right now?
Well, Silver Elephant submitted an application for mining production contract for the Malku Khota property in January this year. The approval process involved 3 main steps. The first one is verify the application correctness and completeness from the legal, financial, and technical aspects. Then a commercial negotiation starts, and finally, the last step is the board approval. Bolivian government, which is CONMEBOL, it will not accept any other applications until the conclusion of the Silver Elephant application. Each step, Silver Elephant has the opportunity to amend the application to address any deficiencies. We feel quite confident with Malku Khota, particularly given government is more pro-investment. We don't have a timeline given COVID situation. However, we're optimistic of a positive outcome in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk about COVID, the elephant in the room. How is COVID affecting our operations currently?
Well, national quarantine has been lifted in early July. Access to produce and resources are improving with occasional local cities quarantine. International flights resumed in early September. Daily infection lowered from 500 per day from 2,000 back in July. Summer is approaching, which should further slow down the virus spread like happened in Europe.
Mm-hmm. And let's move the subject to vanadium. Dan, talk about what the company is going to do with vanadium.
Well, our plan is to spin off vanadium into the vanadium project into a new company when Gibberellini is ready for project financing. Project's currently managed by our VP Environment and Sustainability, Rana Spell, who I work with. Gibberellini is the most advanced vanadium project in the USA, and which currently relies 100% on vanadium imports. Vanadium is classified a critical metal by the federal government and is used in aerospace, energy storage, and just in ordinary skyscraper construction, where 0.5% addition of vanadium to steel doubles its strength and lightens its weight by 30%. We expect to receive a final record of decision from the BLM in July 2021, and currently our draft EIS is at its final stage with most of the work complete on that.
Got it. So you're looking at potential spin-off 2021 when we get that record decision. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think in conclusion, Dan, what is the company's overall strategy and plan on our Bolivian projects, Sunawayo, Pulacayo, and Triunfo?
Well, Silver Elephant's goal is to explore near the Sunawayo-Malku Khota border, where the Malku Khota deposits are less than 200 meters away. We'll also explore in and around the current open pit operations and along the intervening 8-kilometer Malku Khota lithological trend within the sandstone units that host the Malku Khota deposits. In parallel, we'll continue to advance the mining production contract application that Joaquin just mentioned. with Comibol for the rights to explore Malku Khota. We want to grow the resource at Sunawayo, Pulacayo, and Triunfo, and really our focus will be first principles, mapping, sampling, geophysics, IP, and drilling. And with each project, we're going to develop and prioritize each targets based on target size and likelihood of discovery. And our goal as a company has been to prove up 300 million ounces by 2021 to 2022. And we'll also continue to evaluate possible additional acquisitions in the meantime.
Very interesting. I understand that the 48 sample grabs along the Sunawayo trend is the assets due to receive quite soon. So
that's
probably that good tell sign of what is to come.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
thank
right.
you, Dan, and thank you, Joaquin, for today's Q&A session. This will conclude the session. We encourage you to Google us at YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and email us at ir@silverelef.com. See you next time.
Thank you, John.